to sit there. Teacher, can you go to the bathroom? No, 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 no. You sitting
Right.
there. This is not healthy
Right.
because pretty soon your bowel just keeps this stuff in here and it backs up and it gets stiff.
Right.
Another thing is the foods like meat and things that are very easy to create bacteria. Like if you have a piece of meat, I don't know if you've ever done it, but I remember one time my mother had a chicken and she brought it in the house and it didn't get in the refrigerator. She left it in a bag and after a day or so this thing was stinking and smelling. It started to ferment. This is what happens when this stuff doesn't move. It makes very smelly bowels. It moves through your system, creating all kind of bacteria. Due to the overwhelming stress of our lives, our bodies are always struggling to eliminate this waste. And these different toxins accumulate in the cells. Now, if you have a lot of stuff sitting there and your intestinal system is unhealthy, look at what you're going to get. Headaches, indigestion, chronic fatigue, and how many people do you know complain about being tired all the time?
Yeah.
You got stuff sitting here, joint pain, skin problems, diarrhea, constipation, backaches, bad breath, on and on. Now, other things that happen, hemorrhoids, gas and bloating. I hear a lot of people complain about the bloat that they have, sore throat. A lot of people lose their sexual responsiveness because it becomes impaired. Depression, irritability, anxiety, worry, loss of memory, sinus and lung condition. These are just to mention a few things that happen when you have this in here. It can even go into polyps and cancer and other things. Now I want you to look at this because this is a picture of a really bad colon. You can actually, I don't know how well this shows up, but you can actually see how the nice, healthy, muscular structure that we saw before. See how it's narrowed here? And on the inside, stuff is accumulating, so we're getting diverticulosis, we're getting little pockets of waste, and if this stuff doesn't get out, it will grow and it will fester and form tumors and cancers. So this is one of the first places that goes bad. And this is just about a polyp, so we're gonna move past that. Now this is key, the transit time. Make sure this stuff moves in. I say 10 to 14 hours. The longer this stuff sits in here, the more toxic the waste becomes. The longer transit time can lead to auto-intoxication of your whole system.
Wow.
Now, if it comes through too short, then you get diarrhea. And people say, but diarrhea is a form of constipation too, because when people get diarrhea, it means they got a lot of gas. So the body's got to quickly blow it out. So that's another form. So we either have constipation of solid, thick stuff, or we have constipation of gas. Now, intestinal causes of this: stress, medication, poor dietary habits, inadequate fiber, and dehydration and lack of exercise. We talked about water before. We need plenty of water because everything has to be moving. You need water for your eyes, water for your hair, water for every single cell in your body. And then if you have diarrhea, diarrhea can be caused by viruses, medicine, harmful bacteria and parasites. That's usually it. Emotional stress and any kind of inflammatory bowel disorder, stuff that's just sitting there.
Right.
So these are the ways that we want to kind of keep a look. Now, these are some questions you ask. How healthy is your colon? Things you ask yourself. Do you use tobacco? Do you use alcohol daily? Do you exercise less than 3 times a week? Do you eat more than 4 ounces of meat? They say about the size of a deck of cards is the biggest serving of meat you should eat. And I remember we used to go to the steakhouses and eat a whole.
Right.
You ever do that?
Yeah.
We didn't even realize that the portions were way too much. So now if we eat a meat, should be no more than 4 ounces. If you're overweight, your colon is naturally going to be unhealthy. Do you eat fried food? I tell people fried food is like, I used to hate to fry chicken. Do you ever fry any chicken?
Not anymore, because
You
I have a
used to?
cookbook, and my cookbook, I eat healthy in my
Yeah.
cookbook. The way I prepare my fish, the people who have eaten it has actually thought it was fried until I told them. You know, it was baked. You know, and I use yellow grits from a meal, you know.
Okay, you put that on the outside of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a shake and bake, put a little seasoning in the yellow grits and shake it up and warm a pan, stick it in the oven,
In the oven.
and it just bake, you know, and it comes out just right. You know, it's very healthy.
It's so much better because when I used to fry food with my mother, I used to hate it because I would always get grease would pop up on my face. Then I have to clean it off the wall. And then
Right.
somebody helped me to understand that when you fry food, when you eat fried food, it sticks to your intestines. That grease the same way it sticks to the wall. You ever tried to clean that grease
Yeah,
off?
yeah.
That's what it says it does. So I stopped eating, you know, fried food on a regular basis. Once in a while, and try not to do it at all. Another thing is eating processed food. I think about all the times I went to high school and ate lunch meat. I used to love to eat bologna and salami, all that processed stuff with
Lunch
all
meat.
the salt and all that stuff in there. Now we're realizing this is very toxic material and we don't eat it anymore. And what it does to your colon, it's amazing. Now, this is the last slide. This is Welcome to America, and we look at this standard diet. I love this picture of this man right here, draped with that American flag around him. Can you see him? He's got the red flag, the flag around him, and see how overweight he is. Yeah, we have a national calorie consumption of 3,707 average a daily. We have most of us, 33% of our children are now obese or more. And the national sugar consumption is up to 142 pounds of sugar per person per year. Isn't that something?
That is
142 pounds. It's probably more than that. And the percentage of fast food is on a daily basis, for many people, it's 55% of their diet. So Americans are really at a place where we can see what's happening to our colons and why we're becoming more unhealthy. So these are, we talked about practices earlier.
Right.
We have a lot to do and
Oh,
much to cover.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And I'm really starting to work on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, we've been started, me and my significant other, and I hope that you at home are watching this show and man, start eating right, you know, because that is the key to your health, you know, and that's really what's happening. I want to ask you this last question here, though.
Okay.
What are the 3 basic food types humans are physically, spiritually, and mentally conditioned to eat?
You know, really, that's a question, that's an error on there. It should say 4. There are 4 basic food types, and this is 4 basic food groups. And we look at we should be eating fruits and flowers. We should be eating stems, leaves, and roots. Those are the 4 food groups. And like I tell people all the time, they say eat grains, but grains are really fruits. You know, a bean is really a fruit. I have people, I tell them all the time, they
Pinto
don't.
beans.
Pinto beans is a fruit. You know, it comes in a pod. A fruit is anything, any part of the plant that produces life, that carries a seed. And that's what a bean is. The bean has those little seeds in there. That's really a fruit. I have people come to the center and I say, well, listen, we should eat fruit for breakfast. And they say, I'm a diabetic, I can't eat fruit. I say, what about tomatoes? They don't realize tomato is a fruit. They don't remember a bean is a fruit. A squash is a fruit.
I know
You see what I'm saying?
Squash is a fruit? I
Yeah,
thought it was
anything that has a seed in it is a fruit.
Oh, wow.
So that is what the first page of the Bible, that's what God told man to eat, fruits. So that would be squashes, watermelon. Everything doesn't have to be sweet. That's a fruit. So we eat the fruit and the flowers, because now we eat flowers like cauliflower. And even in California now, they're starting to eat the beautiful colored flowers that come off of the plant before the fruit comes. So we eat the fruit, we eat the stem, we eat the leaves, and then we eat the roots. What I'm saying is the only foods that we should really be eating are vegetarian food, vegetables.
All right.
All 4 parts of those are the 4 basic food groups. And when we eat other things, it shortens our life. And it causes us to have to spend a lot more time to eliminate it. I'll tell you this, and then I'll just give you this little thing. Men, as people, we breathe in oxygen, and our waste gas is carbon dioxide. Now, every animal does that. So when we eat an animal, we get not only our own carbon dioxide that we have to get rid of, we have to get rid of the carbon dioxide from the animal. But when we eat plants, it's completely different. When you eat a plant breathes in carbon dioxide and it excretes oxygen. So when you eat those greens or you eat that squash or you eat those potatoes, even though this stuff is going through your body, it's deteriorating, it's still giving off oxygen, which is what your body needs.
Okay. That's all.
And if we could really understand that, plants give us oxygen, animal products give us carbon dioxide. Now, which one is good for you and which one is bad?
Well, we know.
Yeah.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
We know, because I've heard about chickens when they know they're about to be killed or getting finna die, that they release a poison in their body. You know, I heard that and I was like, wow. And we be eating that. And I'm gonna tell you, the last, I'll say 6 months, it's like I will get into a mood where I just can't eat meat. And I don't want to be a practiced vegetarian.
Okay.
This is something that just happened to me by looking at the health food stations, channels, and you know, then I think about that and think about the stuff I've been hearing. It's just like a turnoff for me to even eat the
Well,
meat.
I really, like I tell people, in the beginning, man only ate vegetables. I don't believe that in the Garden of Eden, and I really am a Christian, I believe in the Garden of Eden, I don't believe that they were barbecuing and killing up animals and eating them. I believe Adam and Eve ate fruits and vegetables.
I agree.
And I think that in the end, and all the animals ate fruits and vegetables. They didn't eat each other either. But once we start killing, we introduced killing on the earth, it just got to the point that it's out of order. But I think that in the end, we'll go back. I saw today on the news where they had McDonald's was changing its egg supplier because Mercy for Animal was showing how cruelly these animals are being treated. Yeah, Mercy for Animal, I've been sending them a few dollars because I just think it's amazing that what they've been able to do to bring the awareness up to people. But we could feed everybody a lot more cheaply on the land if we grew our food there.
People could feed themselves, you know. But, you know, wow, that's another story. But.
We have to get into that. I have a sister-in-law who came here from Korea. And the first thing she said, she was living with my mother in Woodlawn here in Chicago. She says, why do you got all this vacant land with no food on it? You have enough, her point was, Americans have enough land around their houses, on top of their houses, on top of their garages, growing up along, they could put lattice work beside the house. They could grow enough food on their lots to feed themselves and their families. But we haven't thought of that. We just haven't done it.
I know, just very few people I see still has the old school ways of you know, planting a garden. You know, I miss my mom. She moved back down south because when she was here, she was living in the Gage Park area. And she called me over and she showed me how to get the hoe and make the rows. And we plant our greens and vegetation. And boy, I love eating those greens.
It's good. Well, it's coming back. It's coming back. More and more people are starting to do it. And our first lady in the White House even got a garden in there. Got a garden in the White House now.
I heard
it's
that.
wonderful. And I remember when I was a kid, I went to school. I grew up on 42nd Street. And there were people, almost everybody had something to eat in their yards. They even had fruit trees. We had peach trees and pear trees and grapes on the back of the fences. This is what I'm looking forward to us coming back to do this again. And we used to go to school and stop and eat grapes and blackberries out of people's yards on the way to school instead of stopping to buy junk food at the store.
I know, right? So, wow.
Yeah.
But, right, this has really been a great show. And Ms. Baker, I'm so glad that you came back to do part 2 of this show. And I look to hear for much more from you. And I'd like to have you come again on the show.
I'd be delighted, and I hope that people will be motivated to do better, to avoid getting ill.
All right. All right, well, I hope you at home got a lot out of this show. And as I always say, stay on purpose, stay empowered, and definitely stay tuned to your next Men on Higher Learning.